Thank you so much for watching all of my updates when it comes to Sevma. If you didn't get a chance to see it, go back and watch them. I've gotten so much great feedback on people saying they felt like they really took the journey with me, and people just saying that they even enjoyed the music that was included in it. So definitely go back and take a look at the Sevma update videos. If you didn't see my initial introduction to what Sevma is, you can go back to that as well on YouTube to find that information. But this week's video is also an update, but it's an update of the Esther reveal. I also did an intro video of Esther and all the things that I was able to um, create and be involved with during that production. And it was just so fulfilling and it was such a wonderful experience. Many people are probably thinking, well, did you go overseas just so that you can make videos? Technically, yes, but the videos have a purpose. They're to do what God asked us to do, the simple, the Great Commission. And what these videos do, which I love, is they're long lasting. So even long after I retire, I'm off the field. I should say I'm off the field, I retire. And even if I leave, when I leave this earth, because everybody has that, like my mom said to me the other day, everyone has an expiration date. These videos can live on online and through DVDs, and it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to participate something that'll be long lasting. And my boss, who is also the writer and director of Esther, she's doing such a wonderful job of making sure that the Esther production is historic in reference to using all historical information, making sure even the colors are on point. The vessels that are being used are what they would have used during that time. The chairs, the tables look the way they would have looked at the time when Esther was alive. The clothing, we're looking at historical data, looking at historical books. We're going to museums. I even took a trip to the Louvre to take some pictures of Persia, like some of the artifacts that's been placed there of Persia. So we're making sure that this Esther production, this miniseries moving forward in 2024, is going to be something that the people of Iran can relate to. And I say that because it's so important to understand, as you've been seeing the news, and even though the news hasn't really been sharing it much, there's still unrest in the Middle East, and there's still people needing to know who God is and that God is with them if they just turn it over to Him. And the current regime is a major problem and the people are in danger. And I mean, there's still a little fear in us making this production, as well as even me telling you this on my podcast, but that is more to the point, right? With every good thing, every God thing, there's always a little fear involved in it. It was fearful for me to come here. It's been fearful for me to be able to take on these big, heavy duty projects one after another. And speaking of the heavy duty projects, it would be the watch party. Me and my roommate and friend Susanna put together a watch party for the reveal, which is just a trailer to give you a taste of what the miniseries will be when we start production next year. So I want you to take time, watch this. Please take time to write in the comments how this made you feel. I will also give you a little hint. I made and created and cooked all the food you see in the reveal. That was my piece, as well as the Esther logo. I also created that. So it's been a wonderful experience. It's been a great opportunity. Thank you so much for all my donors. And if you're not a donor, please become one today. Finances are hurting. So if you could please help me to continue to do these wonderful things so that these videos that we're making aren't just for the States. They're not just in English. We're actually making them in Farsi. The actors will speak Farsi, and they're going to be going to Farsi speaking countries, and Iran is one of them. And we already have a couple of TV studios within Iran. Like Stat 7 is one that would be willing to show the reveal. So if you could please share, pray please pray. Pray for all the moving pieces. Pray for everyone who's a creative and involved in the project. And pray for the people of Iran, because there is some serious unrest there right now, and God can make a way out of no way. And we just thank so much for, we actually have a woman who was persecuted in Iran for her faith and was asked to renounce the name of Jesus. And she said no. And she said to live is Christ and to die is gain. And that was her statement all throughout being in prison for over a year. And she was in solitary confinement for 4 months. And they put her through a lot. If you know anything about Iranian prisons, you've done any research about Iranian prisons, they do a lot of, there's a lot of torture there. So she lived through it, and she lived to tell about it, and she's still spreading the gospel through her experience to help people to understand the need in Iran. So that's why I'm here. That's what your donations are going towards, to help spread the gospel in places where it's not only illegal, but it's majorly suppressed. So please help me in continuing to help spread this with the help of, or I should say, I'm helping IMM as well as a few other distributors. So thank you so much for your prayers. Thank you so much for your words of encouragement. Thank you so much for your donations and your future donations. And here is the reveal.
The queen was being banished. What had happened? Everything in my life would change from this event, but I didn't know it yet. Why would I? I was not from a noble family. I was a poor foreigner in a huge empire. My name is Esther. I must write this story down before it is too late. We soon found out the whole story. King Xerxes declared 7 days of lavish banquets for all the nobles of the empire in an elaborate display of the power of the Persian Empire. And to put down any rebellious ideas, he made wine unlimited to his guests. When everyone was very cheerful with drink, the king asserted the supreme beauty of the Queen of Persia and ordered Vashti to come to his banquet and parade in front of the men. Queen Vashti refused. She was not a gold cup to put on display. This was not how the queen was honored in the Persian Empire. Besides, she was busy hosting the noble women's banquet. It was a crude request, undignified and demeaning. But no one defied the king. Vashti was banished. She would never enter the presence of the king again. But a decree was issued by the king to make a strong point. Every woman, great and small, had to honor their husband's rule. The decree was strange, not at all like the Persians. They allowed women privileges many did not have. Women could own property and hold positions. This was so crushing to the women of Persia. It diminished their freedom and the empire's dignity. After a time, we forgot about the exiled queen. Then, a new edict announced every province in the empire and every people group would send beautiful young women to the palace. The king wanted a new queen. As a poor local girl, I never imagined I could be chosen. My cousin Mordecai, who had raised me and worked at the palace, found out I was to be taken to the palace. He told me to keep my religion to myself. He cautioned me to watch out for palace intrigues.
Así que sabré hacerlo.
Persia allowed people to pursue their own religion, but officials would use anything against you for power or position. We had no choice but to obey when summoned. I would never be hungry, but I would never be free to live my ordinary life. My faith in God would have to guide me in the palace. I did not want to end up bitter like Vashti. I thought Mordecai was being melodramatic about the situation, but then in the palace, I began to see the truth. People wanted power and influence for themselves at all cost. You never knew who would turn on you or who to trust. Fear began to choke me. Against all odds, I, the poor foreign girl, became the king's favorite among the women brought to the palace. Knowing what happened to Queen Vashti, I knew I had to watch my step. I must follow protocol and do my duty while representing the Persian Empire. I would rather be free, but I had better be wise. My people had a famous king who had asked for wisdom, and I would ask too. I felt very alone, but knew God was with me. Time passed. More young women were brought from the provinces. I noticed I had lost the king's attention and favor in the palace for the moment. I guarded myself and honored Persia as best I could as queen. One day, I heard a tumult at the gates. My maid came in and said Cousin Mordecai was in mourning clothes at the gate. Panic welled up in me. I sent Haytak, my caretaker, to find out what was happening. As I listened, people were yelling, "We pay tribute. What have we done? Who will speak for us?" Haytak got the whole story from Mordecai. Haman, a mean-spirited official in the palace, had convinced the king our people didn't live according to the Persian laws. It was a lie. Surely God didn't use the Persians to set us free from the Babylonians for this. Haman had developed a hatred for Mordecai and deceived the king with his story of our questionable ways. This new decree was not to annihilate a local group, to get rid of Mordecai like some annoying faction, no, but to kill all my people throughout the empire. Mordecai insisted I go speak to the king. The king hadn't called me for a month. I could be killed if I presented myself uninvited. The identity I worked to hide now became everything. We would be persecuted and killed simply for who we were. We had done nothing wrong. The law was against us and our freedoms. I will never forget Mordecai's words sent to me. If you remain silent, you and our family will perish, but deliverance will rise up from somewhere for our people. Who knows if becoming queen isn't for such a time as this? I had to decide. My people must fast and pray. I must hear what God wanted me to do. We knew the stories from our past. God had delivered our people from enemies in many unexpected ways. Who knew if this was another time like that, and I was part of it? I would speak for them. I would stand up for my people, for the rights we had in the empire before this edict. I could be exiled. Worse, I could be killed for this independence and breach of protocol. But I would do it. God would never leave me. Mordecai was right. God had placed me in the palace. Our existence depended on this moment. Someone had to stand up for what was right and speak. It was me. And I might die.
That's a wrap on the watch party. Thanks for hanging in there with us and learning more about the story of Esther and the social media reveal. Please continue to pray with us over this project. Join our team, join our donor team, and check the link below and join us for live questions if you have more things you want to talk about IMM or Esther or Iran. And thank you for being part of this. Yay!
You just got to see finally the long-awaited reveal. Did you check out the food on the table, and did you see my burnt rice? I was trying to make some Persian rice. I was getting some insight from an Iranian and still kind of burnt it. But I have an excuse. We were on set setting up for the following day and I wasn't in the kitchen, so nor was I driving to bring myself back to the kitchen to turn the pot off. It was on low, nothing was damaged or burned, but it's hard to do set as well as cook for the same set at the same time. Food for thought. This is a learning experience, right? But it turned out really good. I garnished it pretty well so that you couldn't tell, and I sprayed it down with some olive oil so that it shined a little bit better. Instead of just looking dry and burnt, it just had this nice glow to it. Everyone said that it looked like a cake in the video. But yes, everything that you saw on the table settings, I set that whole set pretty much by myself. The backgrounds and the boards that were up was actually done by my director's husband, Kerry. He's such a great set designer. I'm getting all that I can, sponging from him. He has definitely taught me a lot along this journey, and the reveal was a 3-day long production, 7 in the morning till whatever time we got home at night, and sometimes it was well late into the evening. And our photographer even had to like lay down on the floor in between takes because his back was hurting so much after carrying around the camera and trying to make sure that the shots were perfect. So I hope you enjoyed it. We are putting all of our blood, sweat, and tears into this production so that therefore these people can feel loved and feel cared about and feel like targeted in a Christ-like way. And we are sacrificing ourselves for it in many cases. Sometimes rice is even sacrificed, but in the end, I think it all came together well. Everybody put their best foot forward, and it really showed in the production. I'm quite proud of it, and I hope you are too. So yeah, stay tuned for more to come, more information. And as you saw, that was the watch party. I gave you a clip of the actual watch party reveal, the world premiere, if you will. It is still available on IMM's YouTube page, so you can see the behind the scene question and answers, and get a little bit more. I just gave you just a little snippet of the whole thing, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. So thanks again for following me on this journey. You know I'm gonna have another one for you next week, so stick around and come back and see me on Saturday. I hope that all this content and information I have been giving you is making you feel filled and understand why donating to missionaries is so important. I'm hoping that in the near future I can show you evidence. Like last week I showed you the video of the testimonial of a man who kind of got out of a kind of almost Iranian type situation with the Soviet Union, and now he's a missionary himself, and he goes from the States and to other places and spreads the gospel of God. So with all that being said, the gospel is being spread. I hope that you're involved either by donating or helping at a local church or attending ministries locally, or seeding into a missionary who's on the field, or participating in any type of organization that's helping those who are in desperate need. So thank you so much for what you're doing and what you're giving. And if you're not doing any of those things, or if you're doing something nonprofit related, that's great. But if you're not doing any of those things, then please feel free to reach out to me. IMM loves volunteers, especially for the miniseries. We would love to help you if we even need to help you with raising funds to come out. We are a fund-raised organization, so we raise all the funds that we use for everything you see. We ask people to donate as a part of a campaign, not only for the individual people that participate behind the scenes, but also for the organization itself. It is not funded by the materials that we create. We do not sell our materials. We donate them, and if people donate back to us, we just ask you, if you sow a seed, we'll sow a seed back. So just something to consider and think about when you're looking in your finances and like, maybe I got a couple extra $100. Let me think about talking with Bianca and seeing where I can invest it. It doesn't necessarily have to be with me, but it can be. But it can also be with IMM. You can even donate to something specific, like you want to donate to the set, you want to donate to clothing for the Esther reveal, you want to donate specifically to IMM and their operational fund, you want to donate and help IMM get lighting or cameras, or you want to help me get lighting or cameras, you can donate to something specific. We would always appreciate that. Recently my phone broke, as you can see there, which was extremely frustrating. But my mom was there for me and was like, I'm gonna sow a seed into you and I'm gonna get you a new phone. So right now I am having to record on my laptop, which doesn't give the best quality picture, but please stay tuned for next week. It will be a much better picture because mother got me a new phone. So thank God for moms, right? And thank God for all of you who also feel, and if you want to sow a seed into my mom, because it wasn't a cheap phone, but she wanted me to be able to produce the best quality content so that you can continue to follow along in this journey and see exactly what I'm doing. And I'm being transparent with you. I'm telling you exactly what I'm going through and what I'm doing. And I'm telling you right now, my phone breaking was devastating because here in Spain, it's not easy. I can just run down to the cell phone store and get a new one. I don't have a monthly plan. I just pay for a SIM card that gives me internet, and that's it. So I got my phone from the States. So I can't, and phones here are more expensive than they are in the States. So just things to keep in mind of the daily struggles that we have to deal with in partnership with all the spiritual struggles that we deal with. Because when you're working for the Lord, my great grandmother used to always say, God never promised a rose garden. And Lord, that is so true. I'm experiencing that every day. But at the same time, I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be here. I'm so happy to be here for such a time as this. So thank you so much. God bless you. Love you. Bye.